Imagine you had to pick just one sci-fi movie to represent each year of the 1990s. Not necessarily the most famous, but the one worth keeping. And with the 90s, that's no easy task. There was no shortage of sci-fi back then. Weird, ambitious, original. So if you disagree with any of these picks, and you probably will, leave your own list in the comments. Let's get started. Directed by Paul Verhoeven and based, very loosely, on a Philip K. Dick story, Total Recall is loud, violent, and completely unforgettable. Arnold Schwarzenegger plays a construction worker who might be a secret agent, or maybe just thinks he is, thanks to a memory implant gone wrong. The film throws him into a world of paranoia, Martian mutants, and corporate conspiracies. Paul Verhoeven mixes brutal action with surreal visuals and sharp satire, creating a future that's dirty, chaotic, and full of bad decisions. The practical effects still hold up. The one-liners are legendary, and the story keeps pushing the line between reality and illusion. It's messy, intense, and proudly weird. The perfect start to sci-fi in the 90s.
This is the plan. Get your ass to Mars.
An obvious choice. And again, Schwarzenegger. James Cameron took everything that worked in the Terminator and turned it into something bigger. This time, the T-800 returns not to kill, but to protect young John Connor from a new threat. The T-1000, a liquid metal assassin with terrifying precision. The effects were revolutionary at the time and still hold up surprisingly well. And it's a perfectly paced film with emotional weight and unforgettable action. It's rare for a blockbuster to be this focused, this emotional, and this endlessly rewatchable. Still the gold standard of sci-fi action. A low-budget sci-fi thriller set in the far future and our past of 2008. Thanks to climate change, London is flooded, rats are huge, and something is ripping people's hearts out. Rutger Hauer plays Harley Stone, a sleepless, cigar-chomping cop with a dead partner, a big gun, and zero patience. He's teamed up with a nervous, Oxford-educated sidekick named Dick Durkin, and together they hunt a killer that may not be human. Split Second is messy, over the top, and surprisingly fun. The plot doesn't always hold together, but the soaked cyberpunk atmosphere, practical gore, and Hauer's growling intensity more than make up for it. 1993 belongs to Jurassic Park. Steven Spielberg took Michael Crichton's novel about genetic engineering and turned it into one of the most iconic sci-fi thrillers of all time. A scientist brings dinosaurs back to life, builds a theme park around them, and, of course, loses control. Jurassic Park featured only 60 visual effects shots, yet it marked a turning point in the evolution of CGI. Crucially, it was used with restraint, not to replace reality, but to support it. The digital elements enhanced the physical dinosaur puppets, never overshadowing them, a lesson many modern films seem to have forgotten. Despite being a box office hit in its day, Stargate is not a film people talk about much now, which is surprising considering the legacy it left behind. The story follows Dr. Daniel Jackson, a linguist and archaeologist who deciphers an ancient artifact known as the Stargate, a portal that connects Earth to a distant planet resembling ancient Egypt. Jackson travels through it with a military team led by Colonel Jack O'Neill and discovers that the world is ruled by Ra, a powerful alien worshipped as a god. The film received mixed reviews from critics, but audiences responded much more warmly. It earned nearly $200 million worldwide on a $55 million budget. It was originally planned as the first in a trilogy, but the sequels never happened. Instead, Stargate paved the way for a long-running TV franchise, one that expanded its universe far beyond anything the film had time to explore. There's already a separate video on the sci-fi movies of 1995. But if only one title had to be chosen, it would be 12 Monkeys. Set in a grim future where a virus has wiped out most of humanity, the film follows James Cole, a prisoner sent back in time to trace the origins of the plague. His mission: find out who released it, collect a sample, and help scientists in the future develop a cure. The trail leads him to a mysterious group called the Army of the 12 Monkeys. But not everything is what it seems. Bruce Willis gives one of his best performances, and Brad Pitt's manic turn earned him an Oscar nomination. A strange and thoughtful film, and one of the most memorable sci-fi stories of the decade. So far, this list might seem pretty grounded, but then comes 1996, and suddenly the Martians are here, Tom Jones is singing, and everything goes off the rails. Tim Burton's chaotic alien invasion parody was never meant to be taken seriously, but that didn't stop it from confusing audiences. Packed with A-list actors playing cartoonish caricatures, the film delivers one absurd moment after another. Martians zap world leaders, vaporize armies, and scream their signature "ack ack" as Burton pays gleeful tribute to vintage B-movie nonsense. The plot barely holds together, but that's part of the charm. It's meant to be ridiculous. Mars Attacks has long been treated as a guilty pleasure, but it wears that label proudly. It's loud, weird, and fully self-aware. And sometimes that's exactly what we need. In 1997, let's take a sharp turn from the chaos of the year before. Contact stands out as a quiet, serious film, and possibly one of the most thought-provoking sci-fi stories of all time. Based on Carl Sagan's novel and directed by Robert Zemeckis, Contact follows Dr. Eleanor Arroway, a SETI scientist who has spent her life listening for signals from space. When a repeating transmission arrives from the Vega system, it sparks global debate, not just about aliens, but about faith, science, and the future of humanity. The signal contains blueprints for a mysterious machine designed to send one person across space for first contact. But Arroway, a passionate atheist, faces political and religious resistance at every step. Rather than focusing on alien spectacle, Contact turns inward, exploring what belief means, what evidence can and can't prove, and how personal experience fits into the larger search for meaning. Dark City didn't get much attention when it came out, but in this list, it absolutely earns its place. Directed by Alex Proyas, the film follows John Murdoch, a man who wakes up with no memory and finds himself accused of murder. As he searches for answers, he discovers that the city around him isn't what it seems, and that powerful forces are controlling everything, including people's memories. The world of Dark City is strange and unsettling. It's always night, buildings shift when no one's looking, and the rules of reality seem to bend. The film mixes noir visuals with sci-fi ideas, creating something dreamlike and tense. It may not be well known, but it's definitely worth discovering. When this video started, everyone already knew how it would end. Of course, it's The Matrix. Directed by the Wachowskis, this wasn't just another sci-fi film. It was a cultural reset. With its bullet-time visuals, cyberpunk aesthetic, and philosophy-laced action, The Matrix redefined what Hollywood thought sci-fi could look like at the turn of the millennium. The cast became instantly iconic. Carrie-Anne Moss in head-to-toe leather, Hugo Weaving as the unforgettable Agent Smith, Lawrence Fishburne as the calm and commanding Morpheus, and of course, Keanu Reeves as Neo. Everything about this film, from its green-tinted visuals to its soundtrack, left a mark. The Matrix may be endlessly imitated, but its impact remains unmatched. The 90s end here, and they end with a bang.